A forgotten artifact lies in pieces on a planet far from Earth. Few know it exists except those who took it back and those whose ancestors created it. 4 young people are thrown into a race against emissaries of the gods to find its pieces. Mistrust, greed, and magic are tangled in an endless web. What will the fate be of the universe once it is found and reassembled? Get Scepter of the Gods, The Rod of Truth now on Amazon, and get wrapped up in the saga that will not let you go.
Good morning and welcome to the Motivational Devotional, where we are merging motivation and spirituality to create a daily dose of confident positivity. I hope that this morning's podcast will help you to be more spiritually and positively motivated so that you can transform your day.
Good morning, I'm Mark the Writer, and I want to thank you for joining me today. If you know anyone who could use some encouragement in setting goals or spiritual development, then please share this podcast or the blog version from motivational-devotional.com. Also, why not visit the Motivational Devotional Facebook page and follow us there? You can listen to every episode right on the page. Do you ever have days or moments in a day when you just don't feel like doing anything that you have to do? In some of those moments for me, I don't even feel like playing a game on the phone or any other fun thing. It reminds me of when I was little and my mother would see that I was bored, and she would try to make all kinds of suggestions that were met with things like, "Nah, I don't want to," or "No, I don't feel like it." I still have moments like that, and I'll bet you do too. Moments when we just don't feel like it. I've come to call it Dontfeellikeititis. It's a condition that needs to be treated. Otherwise, you may end up with the more complicated condition that it leads to, which is called hardening of the attitudes. That is much more difficult to treat, although it is curable, but it's better to nip it in the bud while it is still Dontfeellikeititis. I think there are 3 things a person can do when in this condition. The first is to just become apathetic and not care whether you do anything about it or not. Fair warning here that taking that option will quickly lead toward hardening of the attitudes, so I encourage anyone to not take the apathy option. The second thing that occurs to me when I'm like this is to do something fun or mindless in the hopes that the situation will soon resolve itself. In other words, if I just don't feel like writing, maybe watching TV will help it resolve. Or maybe it's a game on my Kindle or phone or on the PC. Or maybe it's sitting in my Florida room with the dogs watching the birds and wildlife, waiting to once again feel like writing. I'm here to say that if this option ever helps resolve the condition at all, it is a very slow way of going about it. It may not lead toward hardening of the attitudes any faster, but it will definitely not get a person any closer to the life you really want. So that brings us to the third option, which, as you have probably suspected, is the option I do recommend, and it is also the option that I have found to be the most effective as a remedy for Dontfeellikeititis. It's very simple, actually, and I hope that no one is irritated that you've listened so far to this podcast or read this far in the blog only to find out this very simple thing. I don't want you to say, "Oh, really? Is that all you got?" But really, this isn't just all I've got. It's great, and as simple as it is really and truly very effective. What is it? Well, when deep in the moment of Dontfeellikeititis, what I do is this. I do it anyway. Ha! What do you think, right? Isn't that great? That's brilliant, you might say. Why didn't I think of that? But really, you're probably thinking that if you were going to do it anyway, you would really like to feel like it before you do it, because this is a whole problem. You're not doing it because you don't feel like it. So what gives, Mark? Here's what gives. Seriously. What gives is the condition. Really, it gives. It gives way like a weakened blockade that was blocking your progress. Do it anyway, and you find that the condition of Dontfeellikeititis weakens. It starts to give way. You keep on doing what you needed to do, and eventually Dontfeellikeititis falls apart, and you're in the zone getting your stuff done. Dontfeellikeititis is not a strong condition, and it isn't hard to shake. We empower it when we believe we can only do what is important if we feel like doing it. No, you don't. How many successful people in this world became successful because they only did what it took when they felt like it? You know what they did? I know you know. I know that you know that they did it anyway. That's what you and I have to do. I have dreams that I initiated a long time ago, and I dusted them off last year, and I am full in the middle of making them reality. I've also become blessed with a fantastic relationship with a wonderful lady, and we've initiated our own dreams that we are making reality. There is absolutely no time for Dontfeellikeititis, and we cannot give it the time of day. So, not if, but when you find yourself not doing what you need to do because you just don't feel like it, or kick Dontfeellikeititis to the curb. Get off your butts, meaning, but I don't feel like it, or but I'm too tired, and do it anyway. Changing what you're doing will change what you're feeling. If I don't feel like writing, I write anyway, and it might not be very good at all, but it moves me into the zone and eventually it flows. If I don't feel like exercising, I do it anyway, and when my blood is flowing, I feel a lot better overall. If I don't feel like making phone calls, I make them anyway, and start with the one I least want to do because that's probably the biggest culprit behind the disorder. Like the guys with fearless motivation say, your future self is begging you to put in the work now. You can choose what is hard to do now, or you can wait and let someone else hand you what is hard later without having any choice in it at all. You choose. My choice? Do it anyway. When you make that choice, all of creation will be conspiring in your favor. Creation doesn't conspire with lazy butts. Remember that the universe always has your back when you get up and move. Earl Nightingale once said, "We can let circumstances rule us, or we can take charge and rule our lives from within."
Thank you for taking the time to listen today. Please help keep this podcast going by following the Motivational Devotional Facebook page, following @Threefold Way Radio on Twitter, and sharing the written format of today's message from motivational-devotional.com on your social media. I am deeply grateful for your support, and thank you for letting Motivational Devotional be part of your journey. Peace out. See you tomorrow.
Motivational Devotional is a production of Threefold Way Radio, LLC.